Like every frame of that movie is better than most of the other movies I've seen. Like the individual frames.
Okay, so he's half man and half spider. Which halves? Is it a top-bottom thing?
There you are. Undo it.
No, absolutely not.
You have to undo it.
Guys, what's up here?
Thematic shenanigans. That's what's up.
Oh, really? Wait, what did Heath do?
Yeah, okay. So you know how this week's episode is about famous vengeance seeker Olga of Kiev?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Heath told his mom about all the stuff I've written about her on our show.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, Heath's mom is hot. Heath's mom has group sex. I have to see her at least once a year, and now she is going to murder me.
I mean, I'm sure Heath's mom understands. This is a comedy show.
Oh, she understands all right, Tom. She understands how to torture the human mind. She worked in public school for 2 decades.
4, actually.
4! 4 decades! And she's probably, saved up a sabbatical or 2 by now to do nothing but just hunt me down.
Now, Eli, I've met Heath's mom. She's got a great sense of humor. I think you're worrying over nothing.
I think you're forgetting about the fuckbot sketch.
All right, so if you start in northern Canada, I feel like the wilderness will slow her down.
Smart.
Like Frankenstein.
Yeah, Tom. Like Frankenstein.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Heath, and I'll be hosting this discussion of an extremely powerful woman from history, and I'm joined by the expert mansplain panel, Tom, Noah, and Eli.
Yeah, Haley actually told me all about this topic yesterday, so I can't wait to play this back to her.
Yeah. But now, to be fair, we read a single article about stuff on Wikipedia before we pretend we're experts. But by mansplain standards, that's pretty good. I just feel like that's pretty
responsible. Thank you. Good point.
Downright factual, yeah.
All right, let's get right into it. Eli, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event are we going to be talking about today?
We'll be talking about Olga of Kiev.
Okay, who was Olga of Kiev?
She was a badass child bride turned ruler who enacted a revenge so bloody, Daenerys Targaryen would have called it a bit much. But she didn't stop there. She went on to unite much of what we now know as modern Russia. She turned down an emperor's marriage proposal and managed to secure herself a sainthood on her way out the door. We talk about a lot of idiots and rubes here on Citation Needed, but this week, we're doing a certified legend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure uniting Russia works out for the best in the end, but it's still impressive. Yeah.
Fair.
Good point.
Fair. Now, historians don't know the exact date of Olga's birth. Wikipedia says it could be anywhere between 890 and 925 AD, because the Catholic Church made up a bunch of years. But what she definitely was a Viking. Specifically, among the last of the Varangians from Pleskov in modern-day Russia, because the only thing scarier than a Viking queen is one who is also somehow Russian.
Okay, if she ends up being a Russian Viking drag queen, we might start a civil war.
Yeah,
by
I know.
doing this podcast.
I know.
Illegal in half the states right now.
Yeah. Now, either way, at the age of 15, she was married to Prince Igor I of Kiev, who, like all men married to awesome badass women, was a dumbass who regularly had to ask Anna which card in his wallet was the debit card because they're both blue.
It's the card that says debit on it.
It does say debit right at the
You
top.
sound just
debit
like her.
on the card.
Sound just like her, Tom.
You shouldn't have a credit card. Just use the debit.
Agreed.
You shouldn't have the debit card. You should get a coin purse.
Anna should just take care of all of it.
Yeah, no, it should be like a handfuls of money situation.
Eli just has a wadded up thing of cash. Is this enough? Just hold it out.
That's the
Here you go, Eli. Here's some walking around folding money for you. You get a little bit today.
thrown out here. Everyone on this podcast has given me a third of their business. So
He's got a bunch of coins in his Rouge shoes.
Whatever he did, though, he was such a dumbass that just 3 years into their marriage, Igor went and got himself killed in the stupidest way possible.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know they had submersibles back then.
Okay, sorry, second stupidest way possible. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You see, Igor was the heir of the Rurik dynasty, which was, in turn, under the guardianship of Olga's fellow Viking, a guy named Oleg, who history refers to as Oleg the Wise. Now, Oleg ran the show out of Kiev, and most of the surrounding tribes, including one on the eastern border called the Drevlians, towed the line because they knew what was good for them. They fought in his wars, and they paid him tribute, but then, when Oleg died and Igor was suddenly in charge, they started giving a local warlord their tribute instead. Insulted, and after what was probably an embarrassing number of tries to get on his horse, Igor set out to the Drevlian capital, Iskortistan.
Hurt myself.
Exactly. To force the tribe to pay tribute to him. Now, confronted by Igor's larger army, the Drevlians backed down and paid up. But as Igor and his army rode home, he decided that the payment wasn't enough and returned with only a small escort seeking more tribute.
Guys, I feel like they agreed to my number like right away. And then they handed us one duffel bag from that big pile of duffel bags they had. I feel like we got fucked on that.
So I feel like this started as do you guys think it was the bigger army or my forceful personality type argument, right?
No question. No question. Yeah, so according to chronicler Leo the Deacon, when Igor showed up, the Drevlians had enough of his shit and decided to straight up murder him, which, according to Leo, they did by tying him to tree trunks and tearing him in two.
God damn, the log ride at Disney gets fucking metal.
Right?
Exactly. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, when I read that description on Wikipedia, I was picturing something involving the Ultra Hand. But don't worry, it's actually much sillier than that. According to the Chronicle, quote, they had bent down 2 birch trees to the prince's feet and tied them to his legs. Then they let the trees straighten again, thus tearing the prince's body apart.
Jesus.
Like blood sport?
Yeah.
Like blood. Okay, see, this is why Frank Dukes won the Kumite. This guy Igor just died. You got to train for that shit.
How many guys doing the tree bending got launched accidentally into the air too?
Oh,
just
that's
like I almost got it. Almost.
I just imagine Robert Frost sitting there just going like, okay, this is not what I expected it to be. I'm sorry. I was expecting more from this.
Feels like there's a planting and like you have to be like, okay, everybody in 27 years gonna be really good. 2 or 3 executions here, so tell your kids.
We have to go out and water our Igor.
Right, exactly. Now, either way, the Drevlians have no idea who they just fucked with. All they know is they just created a widow who is, at most, 20 years old and has a 3-year-old son who can't take the throne yet. And will be the first woman to roll over Kiev ever. So they send 20 negotiators to the court and tell the queen that they're there to, quote, report that they had slain her husband and that Olga should come and marry their Prince Mal, end quote.
Well, therefore was a wildly different concept back then, wasn't it?
So Olga, cool as a cucumber, responds as follows, quote, your proposal is pleasing to me. Indeed, my husband cannot rise again from the dead, but I desire to honor you tomorrow in the presence of my people. Return now to your boat and remain there. I shall send for you on the morrow, and you shall say, we will not ride on horses nor go on foot. Carry us in our boat, and you shall be carried in your boat, end quote.
Okay, I feel like she's setting up a thing, right? Like that was really specific and like weird the way she said
that
it.
damn near ended with now. And be sure you're standing on the big red X when I get there.
Yeah, you'd think, but no, the Drevlians do not pick up on that. So sure enough, the next day when they wake up, there are the people of Kiev, and they pick the negotiators up in their boat and carry them through town to the palace. However, when they reach the palace, instead of, I don't know, babes and booty like they were expecting, they find a trench. A very deep trench that Olga had spent the previous night having her people dig. Nice. And before you can say swag bag, the people of Kiev threw the negotiators and their boat into the trench and began to bury them alive.
This is Kiev.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. I'm going to quote from Wikipedia again here, just so everyone knows I'm not making this up. Quote, It is written that Olga bent down to watch them as they were buried and inquired whether they found the honor to their taste.
Which is clearly 10th century Russian for "Do you like apples?" Yeah.
Don't answer. She's setting up a thing.
So I think we can all agree that if Olga had stopped there, she'd be pretty freaking badass, right? But she was just getting started. Olga immediately dispatches a messenger to the Drevlians that they should send their, quote, distinguished men to her in Kiev so that she might go to their prince with due honor. And
Come on.
And cell phones don't exist, so they have no idea what happened to the last guys they sent, so they happily oblige.
Still, though. Come on.
Sending, again, quote, the best men who governed the land of Drevia. When the Drevlian fancy pantses arrived, she told them that they must be exhausted and weary from the road. She commanded her people to draw them the finest baths at the city's finest bathhouse, and there they were carried on the shoulders of people like royalty.
Okay, I'm sorry, but if you kill some other group's leader and then, his wife is like, "Oh, that's so awesome. You should let me thank you by mostly submerging all your wealthiest people." And your answer is, "Well, that sounds swell." Like, I blame you for their deaths more than her at this point.
Exactly. Thank you. Once they're inside the bathhouse, however, Olga barred the doors and set the building on fire, starting at the doors in the basement so that the Drevlians inside were boiled alive.
Lots of amazing puns about soup when they lit that fire, I'm sure. Like, for a while, a lot of taunting with fun puns.
Should have gone for the salad.
And then 2 hours of really bad puns about soup as it petered out.
Right. You run out
Booyah
quick.
base, booyah.
Now,
Booyah basic. There you go.
I'm sorry to ruin the puns, but I feel like they would have gotten out of the baths. No.
Sure, they were probably not saying, they weren't waiting it out, probably.
It is admittedly a badass move, but, now everyone else has to bathe at the second finest bathhouse.
Yeah, it seems like a big sacrifice.
There's definitely a doodly-doo there where someone just sort of swings his hand as he walks up to Olga and is like, now, I mean it when I say don't take this the wrong way, but... Is there a reimbursement program? Because I had
She was a
11
consummate
stamps.
murderer.
There you go. So at this point, she's buried
Bisque.
some people alive. She's boiled some people. You got it, Heath. You're almost there. So Olga sends another messenger to the Drevlians, this time asking them to, quote, prepare great quantities of mead in the city where you killed my husband, that I may weep over his grave and hold a funeral feast for him, end quote. Which I thought sounded weird, but apparently that was actually kind of a custom when you married someone who killed your husband. And besides, the Drevlians had already sent 2 groups of guys who were having so much fun they hadn't even come back yet. So once again, the Drevlians agreed.
This entire tribe is fucking Elmer Fudd. No shade for Olga. These aren't the brightest people that she conned.
Right,
Good work, though.
I'm surprised the follow-up letter didn't just say, "Okay, now send me your second most distinguished man."
Can they have apples in their mouths?
Yeah.
It's for a thing. It's a game.
Does it matter if it's Wabbit season? I don't think it does. We just go, right? We just go.
So Olga arrives at the tomb of her late husband, and she's accompanied not by ladies-in-waiting with, fancy poofs, but by a small militia of Viking warriors, which the Drevlians agreed was weird, but, a Viking's gonna Vike, I guess. She then proceeded to weep and hold a funeral feast just like she had promised, and then she invited the Drevlians to join her. And so the Drevlians ate and drank and drank and drank, and when they were good and drunk, Olga and her men attacked.
There's just one Viking with a Sharpie standing amidst the chaos looking around. I thought we were just going to draw dicks or whatever. Okay.
Now, you can still do that, man.
I want to be clear. When I say Olga and her men, I mean Olga too, right? This is something that the Catholic Church has whitewashed since her sainthood, but even the highly sanitized Primary Chronicle says that she, quote, went about herself, egging on her retinue to the massacre of the Drevlians, end quote. And at the end of the night, 5,000 Drevlians were killed, but Olga wasn't done yet, so she went back to Kiev to get her army to finish off the survivors.
I love the Catholic Church reducing her down, like this obvious fucking warrior. They've reduced her down with her misogyny until she's on the sideline with fucking pom-poms egging on her retinue. Fuck you.
Olga spends the next year or so kicking the absolute shit out of the Drevlians, right? She's destroying or demanding unconditional surrender from most of their cities. But she saves the city of Iskastorsten, where her husband had been killed, for last. At Iskastorsten, she sieges. And Iskastorsten is a big fucking city, and she does not have the army to just come barging in the door. So, Olga just sits at the gates with her entire army, sieging away for a year.
Okay. I like the siege because I feel like the verbal taunting game really gets amped up after a long time doing it. You're yelling over the wall and stuff.
Right. No, you have time to do like running gags. You have callbacks.
Yeah.
You got a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
You got a Halloween episode. You need these
You finally come up with a soup pun from earlier,
Right,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
when
yeah.
are biscuits
Exactly.
and gravy. What?
Anyways, the year
It's a stock
ends.
joke, really.
Stop doing that.
See?
God damn it.
Cecil's not here. I gotta represent.
There you go. Yeah. Cecil actually read my essay and wrote like cue cards. He's standing there in perfect silence, sweat dripping down his beard. Anyways, the year ends and she sends the city leaders a message. And this is what it says, quote, "Why do you persist in holding out? All your cities have surrendered to me and submitted to tribute, so that the inhabitants now cultivate their fields and their lands in peace. But you had rather die of hunger without submitting to tribute." End quote.
Again, a year. A year. If I was in charge of the city, we would have surrendered before I missed second breakfast.
Exactly. Now, the Drevlians are, rightly, suspicious, and they point out that she's been awful murdery so far, and they're a little worried about unconditional surrender. But Olga says, no, killing the messengers and the fancy people and those other 5,000 people, that was enough. She's not mad anymore, and to prove it, all she demands is 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows from each house in the city.
I feel like she's lying. She's lying about not being mad anymore.
I mean, if I could save my fucking life by bringing you 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows, I would die, right? There's no fucking way.
That's all you need. I just have to catch a sparrow.
Right.
3 fucking
3
sparrows.
Kills everybody that accidentally gives her a wren or an Inca dove.
Right.
Joke for my birding friends.
Much larger wingspan. What are you doing? You're making us look ridiculous. So the Drevlians are thrilled, and they make with the birds post-haste. But Olga, she tells her men to attach a tiny piece of sulfur on a very long string to the leg of each bird. And when night falls, they all set the sulfur on fire and let the birds go. And those birds fly right back to their nests inside the city.
Nice.
As the Primary Chronicle says it, quote, "There was not a house that was not consumed, and it was impossible to extinguish the flames because all the houses caught fire at once," end quote. Also, anyone who managed to escape the city, Olga just killed or enslaved right away.
Did they get to pick? She did go back on her word, but in fairness, she said psych.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I mean,
Before
it
she
fixes
did.
it.
All right, well, Olga is about to get played by Uma Thurman in a Tarantino movie about revenge and probably foot stuff. And that means it's time for some apropos of nothing.
People of Iskoristan, why do you cower behind your walls? Come out so that I, Olga of Kiev, can talk peace with you.
No.
Come on. Why not?
Because you're mad. You're obviously mad.
No, I am not mad.
You're totally mad.
Killed all those guys. You're super mad.
I did. But you know what? I got that out of my system. So now, I am not mad.
Okay. Prove it.
Prove it? How do I prove that I am not mad? I cannot prove a negative.
If we let down gate, what you gonna do?
I don't know. Maybe come inside, look around a little bit. Window shopping,
Window shopping for what?
It's goat food.
Goat food. We do have amazing goat food.
That's
That-
true.
that
No, we
sounds
do. We
legit.
do. Okay, we're going to let you in, but one last question.
What is it?
How do you feel about your husband's mother?
Great lady, really like.
She's totally lying.
The hoist the gate.
Damn it! I knew that was the trick.
And we're back. When we left off, Olga had killed, well, literally everyone, I'm pretty sure. Hard to imagine there's anything that comes next. Eli?
Okay,
What's next?
but there is more, Heath, because lots of people can take revenge, but it takes a master to get away with it. And Olga is an absolutely awesome ruler, right? So the first thing she does is standardize the system of tribute, so a situation like her husband's doesn't happen again. This is, at least according to Wikipedia, the first legal reform in Eastern Europe.
Eli, do they also standardize after shaking down a city with violence, don't swing by again on your way home alone and ask for tips?
Yeah, literally yes, Tom. Literally yes.
Okay, so she invented like taxes as a system, and everybody was like, cool, all right, now we're peaceful? Really?
Yeah.
Taxes, that really calmed me
Everybody
down.
loves that.
Just feel super chill. But it's not just that. She also establishes hunting grounds and boundary posts and towns and trading posts across the empire. Now, those things obviously already existed, but they didn't exist under the protection of Queen Messup. And once they did, they became vital centers of cultural exchange and civil order. They were so well maintained that when the primary chronicle was compiled in 1113 AD, it mentions that her trading posts from 200 years ago are still standing. But she had yet to face...
And Eastern Europe never had tribalism ever again.
Exactly. It all worked out. But she had yet to face her greatest challenge, the Emperor Constantine's overtures. Now, to be fair, this was Constantine the Seventh. The bird didn't change the whole world's religion guy had been gone for a while, but it was still the emperor. So 5 years later, when, I will remind you, she is at the oldest 25 years old, she goes to see Connie VII.
She's like, okay, I know this is a little weird since I'm coming to see you, but can my guys carry you around on a boat for a little bit? Just like in circles?
No? Fancy
No.
a bath?
Yeah. So pretty much right away, Sea Dog is smitten, right? The Chronicle tells us they talked for like 5 minutes before he was like, hey, you're hot. You should totally rule beside me. And Olga was like, oh, I would love to marry someone twice my age, at least a couple 100 years before regular bathing becomes a thing. But here's the thing. I'm not Christian. And the only way I can be a Christian is if you baptize me yourself, okay? That's because I admire you so much.
And he's like, I don't think she'd go right for another water-based homicide. Like, her last one was water-based. I feel like I'm safe. I'll be fine.
Yeah, why do I feel like the real hero of this story is about to reappear? Good old male overconfidence.
Exactly. So Constantine hears that and he's like, absolutely, I'll totally baptize you. And they do the magic dance with the water. And he's like, great, now you're Christian. Let's get married. But Olga, see, she's a step ahead of him. See, in the baptismal rites of the time, one of the declarations made when you're baptizing someone is something like, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm your spiritual father and you're my spiritual daughter. So when Constantine proposes again, here's what happened according to the Chronicle. Again, ancient document, quote, after her baptism, the emperor summoned Olga and made known to her that he wished her to become his wife. But she replied, how can you marry me after yourself baptizing me and calling me your daughter? For among Christians, that is unlawful, as you yourself must know, end quote. Then the emperor said, Olga, you have outwitted me. He gave her many gifts of gold, silver, silks, and various vases, and dismissed her, still calling her his daughter. End quote.
Okay, this could be a really popular version of porn. No, okay, I'm just no, I'm just not there yet. That's fine. Well played. I gotta give it to you. All right.
Yeah, emperors really love getting duped. They give you lots of presents.
no,
when you
exactly.
dupe
That's
them.
how.
That's
That's
famously
exactly
true.
how that
Yeah.
works out.
Are you calling the chronicler a liar?
Yes, I 100% am. You could split me between two birch trees or whatever. You know?
You wait 30 years, man, when these trees get tall enough. But you're probably wondering yourself, Eli, how the heck did she become a saint? Well, if you ask me, Olga saw the writing on the wall. And while some would say she spent the rest of her life trying to turn her people Christian, others note that perhaps she just wanted to establish the political relationships before Christianity was powerful enough to take what it was asking for during her rule. And it worked. Well, it worked on her grandson. Her son fucking hated Christianity, but her grandson was a full-fledged Christian and thus nominated her for sainthood in the Russian Orthodox Church, which was not only approved, but she was granted Izabastarsos, which means equal to the apostles, though I'm pretty sure she could kick all their asses, except maybe Peter's.
I think she could kick Peter's ass.
Definitely kick Peter's ass. Stupid comment at the end.
He's the Donatello of the apostles, obviously.
Who is the guy who cuts off the ear? That's Peter,
No,
right?
that's Peter, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Peter's the only one who, when they show up, is like, let's fucking go. And Jesus is like, Peter?
Okay,
you're wrecking
he's already
this."
being boiled in a pot of something by Olga. Already.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Italian wedding. What? Okay, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Hell hath no flame like that of a Kiev dame's game.
Oh,
Right. And are you ready for the quiz?
Such a stupid.
Tom was so nice about it, and I was like, why is Tom being so nice?
that's uncharacteristic.
I'm ready. Do it. Hit me.
You are ready for the quiz. All right, I'll go
I
first.
have never been more ready.
During the siege fire with the birds, there was another long string of taunting puns, slowly petered out, obviously. Which lyrics were the most fun during that time for Olga and her army? A, this bird is on fire. B, and it burned, the wing of fire. They love that one because bird thing. C, to everything, burn, which is just fun. But then somebody was like, the birds, it's by the birds. And they were like, oh, shit, it's a double. What? Or D, we didn't start the fire. That's just a great song.
Oh, fantastic. I'm going to go with This Bird is on Fire. Feels like a good feminist anthem.
Alicia Keys, absolutely correct.
Yeah.
All right, Eli. Olga does sound very much like a tricky trickster, but A, it was all the same trick. B, I promise I won't kill you. C, actually, yes, I will. D, ha 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 ha.
D, ha 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 ha, dumb.
You got it.
That's a hard one to answer. So, okay, I have one for you, Eli. The only lesson history has taught us more thoroughly than don't fuck with Ukrainians is don't fuck with Afghans. So, what kind of idiot would purposely invade their country despite knowing that history is a thing? A man who pays retired hockey players to lose to him at hockey. B, a man whose authorized biography might as well be called, but I wasn't scared, though. I wasn't scared at all. C, a man who convinced Steven Seagal to make up a higher level of black belt to then bestow upon him. Or D, a man who I never tire of making fun of only because I'm not in his polonium range.
Yeah. I'm going to go with E, all of the above.
It is secret answer E, all of the above. Well done, sir.
Ah, nicely done. Eli, you aced the quiz. You are the winner.
Ooh, there's a first time for everything. All right, I would like a Noah essay next week. Perhaps something topical.
Well, when we were recording
right.
this shit anyway.
Topical coming right up. For Noah, Cecil, Tom, and Eli, I'm Heath. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can check out Cognitive Dissonance, God-Awful Movies, The Scathing Atheist, The Skeptocrat, and D&D Minus. And if you'd like to join the ranks of our extremely generous patrons, who we love so very much, because of the money, that's why we love them, the money, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, listen to past episodes, connect with us on social media, or take a look at the show notes, check out citationpod.com.
Dear Diary, day 463 of my journey. The Alaskan wilderness has hid me from Heath's mom so far, but who knows for how long. All I have left is the communications from home to keep me sane. Eli, you left your location services on. Heath, fuck. Fuck. Okay.
Why would I sign my text?
Audio medium, motherfucker.
Why did you say that?
Hi, Eli. This is Heath here today.